Welcome back to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Nick Kroger. Today we've got a wonderful guest that is coming to talk to us about his unique platform and background that now lends itself to impacting the youth, our next generation of doctors and lawyers and politicians, decision makers that will have an impact on our lives. So I'd love for you to welcome the president of Champions of Choices, Mr. Marc Mero.
Hello, Nick.
Great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Now listen, I want to briefly talk about this unique background, which is essentially giving you the platform to be able to speak into young people's lives and actually have them receive it, actually seek you out for some information, which gives you the opportunity to speak into their lives. Tell us a little bit about your background in Champions of Choices.
Well, I was a professional wrestler for 14 years. I wrestled with WCW and, of course, the WWE, and I became an Intercontinental Champion and a 3-time World Television Champion. And it gave me the platform to start a program called Champion of Choices. Nick, unfortunately, I've lost 32 friends. Most of them died because of their bad choices, drug overdose, suicide, and murder. But it was actually my last friend, whose name was Chris Benoit, that is known for, he not only murdered his wife and his son, but then he committed suicide. And I often tell people there's two types of people. There's a person that says something needs to be done, and then there's a person that says, I'm going to go out and do something. And I felt it was time that I went out there and did something about the choices that young people were making, especially people that emulated professional wrestlers or wanted to do what I did. And I made a lot of bad choices, and this is my opportunity to help students make the proper choices in life.
Well, you come from some would say a non-traditional career, and now you're inspiring students and families across the country. As you speak to students, let's say in our Central Florida area, what are some of their most pressing concerns?
Well, you know, Nick, we get over 100 emails and letters from students every week, and I really have my finger on the pulse of what students are thinking and feeling. And I see a lot of kids with loneliness, depression, and we see a lot of bullying in schools. We see a lot of kids that are involved with prescription medication or drugs, and it really stems from their family lives too. Many kids are raised by a single parent or a grandmother or grandparent, and I came from a broken family, so I understand, I feel what these kids are going through. And we get these kids into a counseling program or with their SAFE coordinator or principal at school. And we really try to help these kids and empower them to make the right choice and show them that there is hope.
Well, I know you have the opportunity to speak to people all over the country and even worldwide. Do you find that the concerns and the issues that these kids deal with seem to be constant, or do they change based on the region of the country or in the different part of the world that you've been able to go?
You know, Nick, that's a good point. It's pretty much the same, but you know, every time we go to a school, we always ask if there's a certain thing that they're going through at that particular school, and some schools maybe are really dealing with bullying at schools, or some kids are having a breakout of prescription medication, or these kids that do these games with pills and stuff that they want to address at that particular school. And we'll touch on that a little more because of their issues.
Now, what are some of the things that you say to students that would convince them or help encourage them to make better choices, not, you know, no matter what they're facing, be it bullying or prescription drugs, or maybe it's just birthed out of loneliness from a broken family? What are some of the practical things that you give to them to help them make better choices?
Well, Nick, you know, it's a lot of it has to do with the people we surround ourselves with. I often tell students that your friends, they're like elevators. They're either going to take you up or they're going to take you down. And if you show me your friends, I'm going to show you your future. So we really deal with that. And bullying our kids that do this out of insecurity. And we want to find out why these kids are insecure in their own life. And sometimes when we deal with those issues, and it comes from maybe not getting enough attention at home, you know, and parents are so guilty of being absentee parents, and they're so busy about, they'd rather talk to a friend on Facebook than talk to their own kids.
Right, right. So, now, do you find that you have the opportunity to, when you go into a school or you go into a gathering of young people, I know you get to address the masses, but is there opportunity for you to speak individually after or before into some of these students' lives?
There is. We get special situations where a parent has asked to come and meet with me with their student, and it's sometimes very difficult because of our busy schedule, but we try to fit these students in and meet with them, and especially kids that are going through some really hard times that you can see they end up in the correctional facilities, and I've spoken there too. So we want to really stop that because it costs more money to lock up a kid than it does for the budgets that they're cutting at these schools.
Right. Now, I know young people, again, there's always a root to why kids make the decisions they make or act out in the way they act out. What are you finding having the unique opportunity really is one of the key things in our young people, this generation that's up and coming, that you think is fueling some of these bad choices or temptations?
Well, you know, kids are, and it's sad because we have grown into a society that's almost, these kids are inundated with sexual connotation from everything from TV to music. Everybody wants to see the TV shows where everybody's rich and famous, everybody has the bling bling and big Escalade, but it seems nobody wants to work for it anymore. We've lost that work ethic, and that stems from the family unity. One of the things that I do every single day is I have dinner with my family. And I find that it is so important. And if parents would start spending more time with their kids and stop being so fixated on making a living, they forget to make a life.
That's important because I think kids operate in the now.
Yes.
And they don't think into their destiny or into their future and make the right choices even as far as friends are concerned. Say what you said earlier about show me your friends. I want our viewers to hear that again.
Well, you know, I often say your friends are like elevators. They either take you up or they take you down. And if you show me your friends, I'm going to show you your future.
That's a powerful statement. And if our young people would take an honest look around them at who they surround themselves with, that really is an honest assessment of what the possibility of their future might be. How did the parents interact? Or tell me some of the comments you get from parents that have had, you know, maybe their young daughter or their young son be exposed to hearing you speak and sharing, you know, your past. It sounds like you share your mountaintop experiences as well as your valleys, some of the mistakes you made, which I think to be that vulnerable with kids really impacts them and makes them receive what you have to say. How are the parents responding, and what kind of support do you get from some of these parents?
One of the things I do at all the schools, I ask the schools to invite the parents to these presentations because it's not just about students. My program is about families. And it's funny because I get letters from parents and they said, I don't know what kid came home from school today, but this is not my kid. She actually wants to spend time with us. But I see parents that they're almost relieved because they see that there is hope. There is just some things that we can make a difference in these kids' lives, and it's just time. We've got to spend more time with our kids. We've got to find out who they're spending their time with, who are their friends, and what are they interested in life, you know? So I get concerned when a parent tells a kid, if a student will say, you know, I'd like to be a singer. A parent goes, no, you're never going to be a singer. Right. You've got to let kids see that there's a hope, because if you give them that proverbial carrot, they're going to move towards something.
Right. You're right. Now, and I would imagine in this society that we live in today, the craziness, the busyness, a lot of single-parent families, the economy, having to work multiple jobs, a lot of this stems also from the parents making their kids a priority and scheduling the time. You said you have dinner with your family every night. Do you have the opportunities to speak directly to parents, knowing that their decisions also impact their children and the youth of today?
I do, and it's very important because parents have got to understand, because it's very easy to point the finger at the school or this person or that person, but they've got to take ownership of this problem and spend more time and find out, like I said, who their kids are hanging around with. That's very important.
And I would imagine a lot of the parents of young people today fall into possibly our age bracket, and you know, we know what kind of generation we came from, and we have to make adjustments as parents ourselves now. It's not the same society. It's not the same economy. It's not even the same lifestyle. And we have to almost carve out time with our kids and impact them and take advantage of that. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. You know, and one of the reasons why I'm able to reach out to these students, Nick, is that by touching a student's heart, you could change their mind.
Right.
And because my story is so powerful, because not only did I lose many friends because of bad choices, but I also lost my mother, my father, my brother and sister. My brother and sister both died at 21. My mother died at 58. And my father died while I was holding him in my arms. So I understand the loss of life, but it has made me realize how precious this life is, and the time we have, how important it is.
We have a couple minutes left, and I would really love for you to address the young people that may be watching today. Some key pieces of information, things that you know will resonate with them, that might at least catch their attention, to make them stop for a moment and reevaluate some of their lifestyles or choices they're contemplating making. So I give you the platform to just speak to them directly.
Well, thank you, Nick. I just want to say, because we all go through adversity in our life, and just because you made a bad choice does not mean that you're a bad person. And I often tell people, don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goals. Aim high in life. I want you to know that failure is not aiming high and missing. Failure is aiming too low and hitting. Think big, dream big, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't accomplish something. You're going to meet a lot of negative people in your life who are going to tell you why you can't do it, why it's too expensive. But I got to tell you, the reason they tell you can't do it is because they can't do it. Go after your dreams.
It's fantastic, fantastic. And again, I think that speaks highly. Some people don't have the ability to comprehend, we're all created differently. So what I envision I can do, my parents maybe never could envision that. I guess I've never thought about it that way. People that tell you you can't is because they can't fathom doing it themselves. And so we have to be careful what we project on the young people in our lives and our own children, yes?
Because also sometimes we think we're helping them by easing the blow of them failure. Right. But failure, I got to tell you, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. And I got to tell you, Nick, if you can look up, you can get up.
Yes, and I believe that with your background, actually being knocked down for a living and getting back up, you understand that in a practical sense, but thank goodness that you see the impact it has, for your future as well, whether it be emotionally or having your dreams squashed. I applaud you for encouraging our young people of today and having them take a second and third look at what their future might be. So great to you, man. I think that's a fantastic platform, and you're doing a wonderful service for our world, for the next generation.
Oh, thank you, Nick. Yeah. And I would love to come out and talk to as many schools or corporations as possible. Please visit the website championofchoices.org.
Well, that's fantastic. And remember, today, if this program's been encouraging to you and you have found it contained information that's impacted your life or inspired you, take a moment to drop a short card or note to Dr. Paul and Jan Crouch, and you can send that to P.O. Box A. That's Santa Ana, California, and the zip code there is 92711. And again, I'm your host, Nick Kroger. We've enjoyed having you with us today. We hope that you've been inspired. We hope that you've been encouraged. And because of our guest today, that you know how to reach out to the next generation and young people of today. And if we all will do our part, we can all experience a little bit of joy in our town. Have a great day. Thanks so much for being here.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and made possible by your telethon dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town brought to your home every day. So write Joy in Our Town, P.O. Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.